If you plan on being successful in 2024, let's address those things that are getting in our way right now with some things that you can do that are going to make you more successful. Let's talk about what you want out of your business. We want to set realistic goals for what you want to do. What would you like to be doing this time next year on eBay or Poshmark or Etsy? This translates to just about any e-commerce business. So where are you heading? I want you to take a hard look at that. Write it down. Hand in hand with the first leg of our journey, which is the goal setting, it's going to be creating a positive attitude towards what those goals are. It is so hard to look and feel like I should have started 3 years ago, or I should have started 5 years ago. I wish I had started the first time that I thought about it. Okay, don't be saying the same thing in 3 more years or 5 more years. We're going to start by right now by recognizing that if you have the mindset to do this, that is further than some people will ever get. Some of what has to happen in the second leg of this journey is that you have to be willing to convince yourself that the journey is even possible. You can't complete a journey that you really truly don't believe is possible. I just want you to focus on the next step. One step. We're going to move one bit closer. Maybe that starts by watching this video and for you to get your mind where it needs to be so that come this time next year, you're much further along than you were today. And that's going to come from a positive mindset that pushes you forward to take that next step. The next part is a little bit of visualization. And I want you to think about exactly what it would feel like to be standing on that summit of success. That when we get to this point next year, that not only have you met the goals, but maybe you've crushed them. And I need you to picture yourself there. It's one thing to have a goal. It's another to tell yourself that I can take this first step. But I want you to picture it. What does that look like? Does that mean that all of your bills are paid on time? Does it mean that now you have the flexibility and the freedom to travel a little bit? Your goals are going to be unique to you. We've heard it said a lot in the last 10 years. I think I hear it all the time about manifesting your own reality. Well, part of that is because it's so much easier to do what we have pictured that we can do than it is working towards something that we've never been able to picture. You know, when you're climbing out of a valley, you're going to run into some rough patches. You're going to run into loose gravel. You're going to run into places where the footing isn't sure. You might even encounter a landslide or two. Every single one of them that you pass, it puts you that much closer to reaching the next summit. And listen, when you're on the summit, you can see a long way and you can see some of the progress that you've made. I think another important step in this is going to be so much easier if you have surrounded yourself with positivity. Who are those people who push you on? Who tells you that you can do this? Surround yourself with those people because there will be plenty of people that don't think it's possible. Make sure you're not one of those people that doesn't think it's possible, but surround yourself with people that are either climbing with you or pushing you or pulling you up behind them. When you are surrounded by people who are positive and you are also attempting to be positive, that is fuel for this machine that you're pushing forward. That is fuel for the climb. As you move towards having this successful business that's going to create for you the life that you want, I want you to stop along the way and track your journey. Not by looking at what other people are doing or what other people have accomplished, and not by looking at what you didn't do. I want you to stop ever so often, once a month, every week if necessary, and write down one of the obstacles that you overcame. Obstacles are not negative. Remember, obstacles are just those things we're passing on our way to success. And I want you to write some of those down so that you can refer back to them, because if you slip, if you aren't where you thought you would be, those are going to show you just how far you've been coming. And so write those things down. Keep a track record of your successes. Absolutely necessary on this climb is for you to educate yourself and to continually upskill what you're doing. And what that means is that as you create a listing, as you buy things to resell, as you complete successful transactions, you're going to learn things from those things. And especially when you're willing to look at those and think, wish I had done this time, this would make this easier. And when you take all of those things and you add them together, you're going to become a better climber. You're going to become a better businessman as we keep going. And so as you go, you're constantly educating yourself. If you start your eBay business now, by December of 2024, your picture should be better. Your listing should be better. There should be fewer errors. And so remember, this education and upscaling part that you are taking part in never ends. It's a continual cycle. Whether you do this for 1 month, 1 year, or 10 years, you are constantly in that phase, constantly growing and constantly learning, because then you are constantly climbing. The higher up we get, the more difficult it can become. The first step is probably the hardest, but you're going to come to some sheer rock walls where you're not sure what to do. And you'll look and you'll think, I've got to go 100 feet. I've got to get all the way up there, and I have no idea how to do that. What you do at this point is I need you to break everything down into smaller and smaller tasks. You've all heard the old saying about how do you eat an elephant? Well, you do it one bite at a time. First of all, we probably shouldn't be eating elephants, but you get the drift. Is that you need to break down the difficult sections into small bite-sized pieces. You're not going to climb the 100 feet all at once. You can look and think, where is my next handhold? Where is my next foothold? In business, what does that look like? Let's say that you know that in order for you to accomplish your goals, that maybe you need to have 30 sales in March. Well, you just don't wake up in March and have 30 sales. You got to break down that listing process and find out which parts are easy for you. What are you struggling with? Is it getting the things ready to sell? Are you having trouble cleaning the items? Are you having trouble photographing? And break those processes down into smaller and smaller pieces and become skilled at the broken down pieces. And eventually, the process that looked very long, very hard to climb becomes much more manageable because you've only doing one little bit of it at a time. And those little bitty bits, you've gotten better and better at them every single attempt. Also on this journey, on this climb, I want you to seek out mentorships. Mentorships can be a two-edged sword. Sometimes you look at a mentorship or a person that you're working with and you compare yourself to them, and that is of no help. A mentor is that person that they know what they're doing really, really well. They're invested in you enough to know what you're doing, and it gives you somebody that you can ask questions of who care what's happening to you. This may not be somebody in your family. It's probably not going to be somebody on YouTube, but it's going to be somebody in the community or with some background in business that you could talk to, that you could ask those questions. Because having somebody who really has been through the valley and made the climb, they might tell you an easier route. They might know an easier path. And even though you've got to climb it with your own gear and your own equipment, having somebody who's done it before, who actually cares about you being successful as you make the journey, is incredibly beneficial. One of the other things that you need to do while you're on this journey is to be present in the present time. You can't constantly spend your time thinking about what's going on in the future or what happened yesterday or last week. Focus on today, right here. When I was talking about breaking down obstacles into smaller pieces so that you can manage them, part of that is your own life. If you try and look at the whole thing all at one time, it is overwhelming. And the job as a whole can just swallow you up. When you're present in today, right now, like me, I'm sitting here and I'm making this video. I really want the video to help someone. I want someone to watch it and see some sincerity and know that I really genuinely want them to be successful. And that's what I'm thinking about right now. When you're present right here, right now, you're going to have a lot better handle on what you're doing and the direction that you're going and the progress that you're making. And perhaps the most important part of this part of the journey on this building of a business in 2024 is I want you to embrace the learning opportunity that this has created in your life. When I got to Texas, I mowed lawns. And, it was the one thing that kept me from being homeless. And it was a lot of work in the Texas sun. And coming from northern Minnesota, that was a bitter pill to swallow. And all I could think was, I need to not be out here mowing lawns. I need to do something that fits me better, because it was back-breaking work. It was hard. It was hot. But I look on it now, and that part of my life was so critical for me to be where I'm at today, because I encountered so many roadblocks and fire ants, so many things along the way that made me better at what I'm doing now. It made me better when I was an educator. It makes me better when I'm out picking for eBay, and it makes me better when I'm on YouTube. That experience, I embrace that now. That summer that I spent running behind a mower in the Texas sun is a large part of who I am right now today. When you embark on this journey, pieces of it may not fit for you, but over time, it's really critical to embrace the knowledge that you're gaining and the experience that you're gaining as you climb out of this valley. Remember, the journey to success is about continual improvement and continual progress towards those goals that you wrote down at the beginning. You can do this. You can do this because I can do this. That's it for this one. I truly appreciate you watching. I'm going to see you real soon as we both move through the 2024 year. I appreciate you watching. Bye.